All righty, Kel. So we're in the third segment of our show now, and this is the part of our show where our guest gets to share some wisdom with our viewers and our listeners. And what you said you wanted to talk about today was I think it was your 5 top tips for better barbecue. Did I get that right?
Absolutely, man. I come up with this right after I said we just got done with 4th of July. And so I had a couple people who hit me up on message or whatever, was like, man, I burnt hamburgers and I screwed up so bad. Help me. How do I not do this? So I said, you know what, man, let's just make a top 5 real simple list that most people who barbecue and grill any at all have been through these growing pains. So we just made a little quick list and said, hey, man, let's throw this out there. And if you're just getting started or you're struggling, man, these are proven techniques that will make it better, hands down. The first one is, learning the two zone method of cooking. So it's not all about being hot and fast. Even no matter what kind of grill you're on, the gas grills are super convenient. But you can actually indirect or 2-zone cook on a gas grill. Just turn a couple of burners off on one side, turn the burners on the other side, but put your food away from where that direct flame is. You'll never burn food again. Some people that, everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, man, how simple is that? But you'd be amazed how much product got burned up by people who didn't really realize they could do that. But for us, my favorite thing to cook on, hands down, when we talk about going back, is the Weber kettle grill. That's where I learned to manage fire with an intake, vent, an exhaust for a chimney, where you dictate how hot you're cooking by setting that grill up to grill where you want to go at. The drum smokers. I think you and Mark talked about this. Man, I love cooking on the drum smokers. I absolutely love it because it is the old school way of learning fire management, but you're able to do it and add the smoke flavors in a way that cannot be duplicated in other cookers. But the biggest thing is that number one deal for us is learn how to cook in an indirect manner, not directly over the heat. Now, don't get me wrong. When you got a 28-ounce big tomahawk, flames shooting out, and that bad boy on the grill, that looks all cool. But there's only about 2 or 3 cuts of meat that you can actually do that with. When Dad's got burgers on the grill, you don't want to see flames shooting out 10 feet.
No, you do not.
That may not be the right thing. So, the indirect method, that's it. The second thing is, fat equals flavor. It also adds juiciness to the meat. You can go and cook a real lean pork loin. You just have to be super careful not to overcook it. The more fat, when you got more fat in your meat, whatever you're cooking, it adds a little bit of room for error. You can take dark meat chicken, for instance, versus a chicken breast. If you cook a chicken breast to about 180 degrees on the inside, it's going to be dry. It's just I mean, you can juice it up, inject it, marinate it, whatever, but when it overcooks, it's overcooked. It's going to be dry. So when you cook dark meat chicken, it's got more fat content to it. So you can actually overcook it a little bit more, and it's still going to have a little more juicy to it. it'll have more moisture in the meat when you get done, just because of the added fat content. So that's, you know, it all starts with, you know, good grilling starts with what meat you select. So that's the second thing. You know, start with something good, but know that fat is flavor, and it's also going to add more moisture when you get done. Number three is season everything. Whether you're grilling veggies or whatever, you'd be amazed at how many people um, would say, you know, man, I tried to grill these steaks, but they don't taste like what's in a restaurant. You know why? Well, tell me how you did it. Well, I just took steak out of the pack, threw it on the grill. What? um, you know, I don't care what kind of grill you got, or what kind of method you're using cooking. Nothing will replace seasoning. Um, and I think I put it down there in our little thing. You know, salt alone can turn ordinary into good. Salt and pepper have combined in the restaurant industry to make people millions of dollars. But when you add salt, pepper, and garlic together in a mix, I mean, that's called the trinity of all seasonings. And it will, you know, it really will. It'll make a whole big difference in anything you cook. I don't care if it's vegetables, I don't care if it's, you know, meat proteins or whatever. You put salt, pepper, garlic on it, it will be different by 100 times versus just taking it right out of the pack and throwing it on the grill. So that was the third thing. You know, probably the biggest safety point is make sure and have some type of internal thermometer so you know what you're doing. But the first rule when you get to, if you ever went to a culinary school, is, you know, doneness is measured by temperature, and it's on the internal temperature, hands down. I don't care if you're baking a potato. I don't care if you're cooking a steak, you know, ribs or whatever. If you don't know what that internal temperature is when it's done, you don't know if it's done or not. So make sure and you know, Google it. If you're not real sure what, you know, your chicken breast needs to be at, Google it, man. You're gonna get 4 or 5 different answers, but you're gonna be in the ballpark regardless. But that's probably the biggest safety tip we got. But you know, if you're tired of overcooking meat, that's a way to absolutely make sure you don't overcook it. And then the last thing is, you know, you can add smoke flavor to um, any protein or any veggie, whatever you're doing, and you can do that on any grill that is made. You know, people say, well, I like the gas grill for the convenience, but how do I can't smoke on it? Yeah, it's real simple, man. Just make your little foil pack, poke a hole in the top of it, throw it right on the burner, man. And, you know, trial and errors, you know, sometimes it may be a little too much smoky. So maybe, you know, turn the burner down a little bit, put a few less pellets or wood chips or whatever in there. You know, that's one of the advantages about using grill grates. Man, I love those things. You can take those things and put those pellets right in the valley, and it starts smoking the food right there.
I'd never even thought of that.
So, yeah, absolutely, man. I've actually seen, you know, with the drippings and the smoke going, it really does. I mean, it creates a whole different flavor. But on a gas grill, man, it's hard to beat that kind of flavor. But yeah, absolutely, you can smoke on any type of outdoor grill that's made. That's the way that we do it on the gas grill. Of course, with charcoal, you know, you can soak up wood chips, throw them in. For us, we like to use the chunks on a charcoal grill and just spread them around. And then, of course, with pellet cookers, you're already cooking with wood. Just turn the temperature down a little bit. It's going to make it smoke a little bit more. So,
Beautiful. So is that the fifth one then? Control the smoke.
That's it, man. You can add smoke if no matter what you're cooking on, you can add smoke to it. So don't run out and think you got to go spend $5,000 on a new grill.
However,
Not
if you
that
would
may
like
not be a
to
bad
and support the industry,
Exactly.
and then write a review of it and send it to you to be published in the magazine.
Absolutely. Now you're talking.